Have you ever felt like airlines aren't telling you everything? There's a hidden side to flying. Unspoken rules, quiet tricks, and behind-the-scenes decisions you never see. In this video, you'll discover the flight secrets airlines and crews rarely share with passengers. Some of these could change the way you travel forever. Before we get started, hit that subscribe button so you never miss a smart travel tip. Now, let's uncover the secrets hidden in plain sight. Number 1. The pilot's secret rest breaks, narrator script. Most passengers think pilots stay wide awake the entire flight. But the truth? Many pilots take naps right in the cockpit, especially on long-haul flights. It's called controlled rest, and it's approved by aviation authorities. Why? Because it helps pilots stay sharp and focused when it really matters. On longer flights, pilots even have secret sleeping quarters. These are often tucked away above the cabin or near the cockpit, complete with beds, blankets, and soft lighting. While one pilot rests, a backup or first officer takes control. But here's the part that might surprise you. Some pilots have admitted they've woken up, only to find their co-pilot sleeping too. That's when autopilot steps in, keeps things steady. But it does make you wonder, how awake are your pilots really? Number 2, the oxygen masks have a short lifespan. In an emergency, oxygen masks drop from the ceiling to help you breathe. But here's what most people don't know. Those masks only provide 12 to 15 minutes of oxygen. That might sound scary, but it's actually enough time. Why? Because the plane will rapidly descend to a safer altitude, usually around 10,000 feet, where you can breathe normally again. At cruising altitude, the air is far too thin to survive without help. So, if the cabin loses pressure, the pilot's first move is to bring the plane down fast. But the real danger is not the short oxygen supply. It's the delay in putting your mask on. At high altitudes, you can lose consciousness in as little as 20 to 30 seconds. That's why flight attendants always remind you, put your own mask on first before helping others. Number 3, airplane water might not be safe to drink. Have you ever noticed that flight attendants almost never drink the coffee or tea on a flight? There's a reason for that. The water used to make those drinks doesn't come from bottles. It comes from the plane's onboard water tanks, and that's where things get questionable. These tanks are connected to the aircraft's plumbing system. They supply water to the coffee machines, tea kettles, and even the bathroom sinks. But here's the issue. They're not cleaned nearly as often as you might expect. In fact, multiple studies have found everything from bacteria to E. coli in airplane water samples. Older planes are especially risky because their tanks often go months without proper sanitation. The Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, even conducted a water quality study. Their results? 1 in 8 planes failed basic safety tests due to contaminated water. Some airlines have tried to improve tank cleaning schedules, but the truth is there's no consistent standard across the industry. That's why many flight attendants play it safe. They drink sealed bottled water only, and quietly avoid anything made with tank water. That includes coffee, tea, and even hot chocolate. If you're flying and feel tempted to order a hot drink, you might want to ask a simple question. Is this made with bottled water? If not, it's probably best to skip it. Stick to sealed drinks. And if you're brushing your teeth on a flight, maybe don't use the sink water either. Better safe than sorry, right? Number 4. The plane's lights dim for a reason. Have you ever wondered why the lights inside the plane dim during takeoff and landing? Most passengers think it's just for ambience, maybe to set the mood for the flight. But it's actually a crucial safety measure. Here's why. If something goes wrong during takeoff or landing, when most accidents happen, passengers may need to evacuate quickly. The dimming of the lights is a simple but effective way to help your eyes adjust to the darkness. Why is this important? Because if there's a sudden loss of power or an emergency forces you to exit into a dark environment, you won't be temporarily blinded. Imagine this: your eyes have adjusted to the bright cabin lights, and then suddenly you're in complete darkness. You'd be disoriented, making it harder to move quickly. By dimming the lights ahead of time, the crew gives you a better chance to react fast if the situation changes suddenly. And it's not just the lights. You've probably noticed that flight attendants also ask you to open the window shades before takeoff and landing. This isn't just a random request, it's there to help you assess the situation faster. If you need to exit the plane, it's crucial to know what's going on outside. Opening the shades lets you see if it's safe to evacuate or if there's an obstacle that could block your path. So, the next time the cabin lights dim, just remember it's not for mood lighting. It's a critical safety step to make sure you're ready for anything. Number 5. The secret behind the noisy ding sounds. If you've ever flown, chances are you've heard those mysterious ding sounds throughout the flight. But here's the secret. You probably didn't know they're not just random chimes. In fact, airlines have a secret audio code that only the crew understands. For example, that familiar single ding you hear shortly after takeoff? It often means the plane has reached 10,000 feet, a milestone in the flight where it's safe for passengers to start using their electronic devices. But it's not just about altitude. A sequence of high and low chimes might signal to the flight attendants that they need to prepare for turbulence. And here's something even more surprising. 3 dings in a row? That's a serious code. It usually indicates a major issue that demands the crew's immediate attention. These sounds aren't meant for passengers. They're a way for the pilots and flight attendants to communicate quietly and discreetly, without causing alarm. It's all part of the invisible system that keeps the flight running smoothly. So, next time you hear one of those dings, pay attention. You might start noticing patterns and uncovering a hidden language used to keep you safe and informed. Number 6. Flight attendants have secret codes for problem passengers. Airline staff are trained to handle all kinds of passengers. But what happens when someone becomes a problem on board? Instead of calling attention to the issue or directly labeling someone as disruptive, flight attendants often rely on coded language to communicate discreetly. For example, instead of saying, "We have a disruptive passenger," they might say something like, "Passenger 13F needs extra attention," or "We've got a level 2 situation." These codes are part of a quiet system to keep the situation under control without alarming the other passengers. In more extreme cases, such as when a passenger is behaving aggressively or posing a safety risk, the crew can discreetly alert the pilot, who may request law enforcement to meet the plane upon landing. And it's not just about words. Some airlines have hand signals or specific phrases that crew members use to quickly notify each other of suspicious behavior, all while preventing unnecessary panic. If you ever hear a flight attendant quietly repeating a seat number to another crew member, it could be a signal that someone on board is causing trouble. So next time you hear one of these quiet exchanges, remember, there's a secret code at play, helping the crew keep things running smoothly without making the rest of the cabin anxious. Number 7. Your checked baggage might not always end up on your plane. When you check your luggage, you probably assume it will follow you right onto the same plane, right? Well, not always. In fact, airlines sometimes delay or reroute baggage intentionally, all to keep their flights on schedule. If a plane becomes too heavy or there's just not enough cargo space, your luggage might get bumped to a later flight to the same destination. That means your bag could be waiting for you at the airport even though you arrived at your destination hours ago. But it's not just about rerouting. Airport baggage handlers are under pressure to move bags quickly. And sometimes, despite their best efforts, your luggage might end up on the wrong flight, all by mistake. This is why airlines always recommend you keep your valuables, important medications, and documents in your carry-on. Because when it comes to checked baggage, there's no guarantee it'll arrive when you do. So, next time you check your bag, keep in mind your luggage might just be taking its own detour, and it might not make it on the same flight as you. Number 8. Pilots can secretly lock themselves in the cockpit. For security reasons, modern aircraft are equipped with reinforced cockpit doors that can only be opened from the inside. But here's the thing, you might not know this, but pilots have the ability to lock the door completely. In the event of a security threat, no one, not even the flight attendants, can enter without the pilot's permission. Sounds like something out of a spy thriller, right? There's an emergency code that the crew can use to request access to the cockpit. But if the pilots suspect a hijacking attempt or any other serious danger, they can override that system and keep the door locked indefinitely. This measure was introduced after past incidents where cockpit intrusions led to chaos and danger. Now, it's in place to make sure pilots remain in full control of the aircraft, no matter what. But here's the chilling part. There have been cases where pilots have locked themselves in and refused to open the door, leading to tragic consequences. To prevent this, airlines have strict rules. There must always be 2 people in the cockpit at all times, even if one of them is just a flight attendant. So, next time you're on a plane, remember, the cockpit door isn't just a barrier. It's a vital line of defense, and the pilots have the power to lock you out if they feel it's necessary. Number 9. The real reason you have to put your phone on airplane mode. Most passengers believe that keeping their phone off airplane mode could interfere with the plane's navigation systems. But here's the real story, it's not exactly what you think. While it's true that older planes may have been more sensitive, modern aircraft are well shielded from electronic interference. So why the rule? The real reason airlines ask you to switch to airplane mode is to prevent interference with ground networks. When a plane is cruising at high altitudes, your phone is constantly searching for signals. It's rapidly switching between cell towers hundreds of times a minute. This can overload ground networks, causing issues for mobile service providers and potentially slowing down service for those on the ground. Flight attendants enforce this rule because airline policies require compliance with safety regulations. It's a rule that benefits the greater network, not just the flight. Even though one phone probably won't cause a disruption, imagine if hundreds of passengers kept their phones on. That could create a huge amount of unnecessary signal interference. No, it's not just a random rule. It's a simple way to keep things running smoothly, both in the sky and on the ground. Number 10. You can get free upgrades if you know the right tricks. Think a free upgrade to business or first class is out of reach. Think again. You might just be one smart move away from a luxury experience. Here's the secret. Flight attendants do have the power to upgrade passengers, but they won't do it unless there's a compelling reason. So what gives you the upper hand? Classic 1. Overbooking. If economy class gets oversold, a few lucky passengers might find themselves in business class. But here's where it gets interesting. Want to increase your chances? First, dress sharp. Flight attendants are much more likely to upgrade someone who looks put together. Second, be polite. A little kindness goes a long way. And here's the ultimate trick. Check in late. Yes, you heard that right. When economy's packed, and there's room in a higher class, gate agents might upgrade someone rather than bump them. Airlines won't tell you this, but savvy travelers swear by it. If you want to take your chances to the next level, combine smart dressing, great timing, and being pleasant with the crew. Your odds of getting that surprise upgrade will skyrocket. These tips might just change the way you look at air travel. Who knows? You might just end up in the luxury seat you've always dreamed of. From pilots sneaking in secret naps to the real story behind airplane water, there's a whole lot happening behind the scenes that airlines would rather you didn't know. If any of these secrets caught you off guard, hit that subscribe button for even more insider travel tips. And don't forget to drop a comment which secret shocked you the most. We can't wait to hear what you think.